This program is brought to you by The Big Secret Movie, now available on Amazon Prime and other video delivery services, and by Occupy Health, available on Voice America, and by TVE Course, featuring free online classes in electronics, video production, broadcast engineering, sports, and health, and by the Paul Porter YouTube channel, the Porter Museum of Broadcast Electronics. In our studio today, we have broadcast engineer Alex Voss and Paul Porter from the Porter Museum of Broadcast Electronics to discuss how the FCC has failed us.
Why did the FCC allow the sell-off of broadcast television frequencies?
Yeah, that really annoys me because in the beginning, the FCC, we were told that the airways belonged to the people, the public airways. And the FCC was there to regulate them to make sure the radio stations didn't tromp all over each other or abuse their power. And over the years, they've been in charge of assigning radio station frequencies and placement of transmitters, allocating frequencies for TV stations, 1,000 other things. But recent years, they've been breaking their own rules. We've got FM stations that are within one click of each other. They're supposed to be 2 clicks apart. That's not enforced anymore. The TV channels, of course, first they took 2 through 13 away from us because somebody needed it so badly, and now they're not using it. But they're going into UHF and whittling it down from 14 to 82 FM channels. We're now down 14. I think the top one is 50.
Well, this is a wholesale takeover by corporations.
Yeah, well, and I work in the industry putting in wireless microphone systems, and we have to fight for available channels for wireless microphones. And used to, we got a chart that looked like a calendar with white boxes on it. It would tell you which channels you could use and which channels you couldn't, and those boxes keep getting bigger every day. Now the wireless receivers you put in, you hit the button on them, and they know what channels are available and which ones aren't, and they'll program themselves. But they had to hunt and hunt and hunt to find channels in that location that are not going to interfere with any local TV transmitter. It's very annoying. And we keep being told you can't use 700 meg because that's now forbidden. They keep pushing wireless mics up in frequency, which right up there with cell phones now. And you got people that wear wireless mics a lot more than they wear cell phones. But I have to admit, they work good on microwaves. Very little cutout. But they keep taking frequencies away from us, pushing us higher up in the spectrum, and for what?
Well, this was supposed to be public. This was supposed to be the property of the people of the United States of America.
Yeah.
And they sold off all the channels that belonged to us to corporations. And, once they sell it to the corporations at auction, we don't get it back. And that's a total. And one thing in their charter, the FCC said they were going to keep the costs low to the public. They are not doing it. By selling off all the frequencies, they're trying to really damage broadcast free over-the-air television, and that's going to make the costs go up because you have to go get it on cable, and they don't do anything to regulate the cable costs.
Yeah, it will not surprise me in the least if we don't have off-air broadcast television 5 years from now. The broadcasters, many of them, have threatened to turn their transmitters off because it costs them too much to maintain that transmitter to serve a handful, what they consider a handful of viewers. They think everybody's watching cable now in high definition on flat screens. That's not true. There's a lot of poor people watching little converter boxes on old tube TVs or cheap flat screen TVs. Not everybody's got cable. I got a place in the country. I don't have internet out in the country yet. I'm not going to pay for a little terrestrial satellite or a microwave link to the nearest city to get cable. I'm watching off-air television. That's all I can get. They turn those things off, I got nothing.
And it's a shame because back in the days when we had analog television, it was a lot less expensive to broadcast at the lower frequencies, power consumption.
Well, yeah, back then, the television programming, you didn't pay a cent for that. You had to buy a TV, put up an antenna, maintain the TV, but the programming came in, quote unquote, for free, with some commercials, but it was a reasonable number of commercials. You've got a program, short commercial break, another program. And now it's almost 50-50 program versus commercials. And with remote controls, being able to change channels quickly, it's very tempting to go surfing, trying to find something to watch during the commercial. And now they've gone so far as to synchronize their commercial breaks, because with good old computers and the internet, they can do that. You can't do that because everybody's on commercial break at the same time. It's really getting insidious. But all they care about is paying. You should not have to pay cable to get local broadcasting, and local broadcasters should not be being paid by the cable company for their signal. That signal is in the air, and it is still free at this moment.
Yeah, it astounds me how they're finding all different ways to multi-level charge us for the same thing.
You know what's funny is you get better high-def TV out of the air than you do off cable.
You do.
Yeah.
It's a lot better. When it works, it's great. Sometimes it pixelates.
Off-air has its limitations, but when it works really good.
Yeah. And it's the CBS is trying to drive everybody toward their all-access CBS channel. And I tried to watch that. You had to pay $9 a month to have it. And it was always pixelated. It was always buffering. And, you know, my system would work great on Amazon and everything else, but CBS hadn't got their streaming done, but they wanted $10 a month.
Well, that's any business these days. They put the product first and they get the bugs out of it later. But you shouldn't have to pay for something that comes out of the air for free. It's not that the government promised us we'd have free television forever, but it's there. It's been there for 60 plus years, and we should still be able to watch free TV for free, which we can. You don't have to pay for off-air, but you got to put up with those commercials, and they have just about ruined television watching, in my opinion. I can't watch a movie on broadcast TV.
Not without having to take half of it to listen to something else.
And sitcoms are shorter because the show is shorter to accommodate more commercials. And if they syndicate it, they cut out a few more minutes to get in a few more commercials. It's gotten to where the commercials outnumber the programming. And, you know, you complain about cable costs, but then you go get off-air TV, and you've got a good selection of programming, but you've got those commercials.
Well, see, about more than half the channels on cable are nothing but commercials.
Yeah, when I first got satellite, there were lots of commercial-free programs. It was wonderful. Didn't mind paying the price. Now it's 4 or 5 times what I paid 10 years ago, and there's only one channel left that doesn't run commercials, and I don't know how they do it, but only one channel is still commercial-free. Everybody else has commercials. You're paying $100 and some odd a month for the service and watching hundreds of hours of commercials on top of it, and the broadcaster's being paid twice for the commercial and for the cable rights.